Hey everyone out there, this is Patrick with Team 2 Shiny, and today we are going to profile Jacob Scrublord VanOrder's Witches Extreme Fight Edition.
Alright, so to start things off for the deck, I start out with Regalia of Prayers Prey Angel. She's just a really good starter. I would use the Grade 3 Searcher, but she only searches out Genesis Grade 3s, and I use both Genesis and Shadow Paladin Grade 3s. When you're in Legion, put her in the Soul Charge 3, give 5k to your Vanguard. A free 4 in Soul, she's really good. So going into our triggers, I play 4 heal, of course, 4 witch heals, I play 4 witch crits, I play 4 of the witch's familiar crits as well. She's really good. If you have a Witch Vanguard, you can put it on the top of your deck, shuffle your deck, you draw a card, then you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, you can put 1 in the Soul and rest in the drop. She's really good when you ride to Grade 3 and you're ready to Legion, but you don't have enough cards in drop. You can put any card you want into Soul and fill up that fuel for Legion. I also play 2 Balmain Kakuri Hime. She's good to put in the Soul and give 3k anywhere. If I need that 1 extra Soul, she's really good to use. I also run 2 Dreaming Dragon Stand. If the game does grind into late game, which this deck is a pretty grindy deck, in order to mitigate the risk of deck out, I'll just use Dreaming Dragon, and I'll shuffle my deck back into my drop zone back into my deck. So those are the triggers. For my grade 1s, of course, I run 4 Witch Perfect Guards. Beautiful art. It's a Witch deck, so I'm running Witch Perfect Guards. I run 4 Witch of Quillpin's Onion. When she's Soul Blasted, I can counterblast 1 if I have a Witch Vanguard, and she comes out of the Soul onto the field as a 9k. Really good to make columns. If I need to make like 2 grade 1 columns, I can make a 16k column out of grade 1s. I also run 3 Witch of Orange's Valencia. When she's Soul Blasted, I can Soul Charge 2. I don't have to Soul Charge 2, but you can Soul Charge 2. I run both of these because it gives me almost an insured preferred ride. Either or is perfectly fine for me to ride. And then I run 3 Witch of Precious Stones Dana. This is where we're getting into the extreme fight. Shadow Paladin Witch, when she's placed on rearguard, I can Soul Blast 1 if I have a Witch Vanguard, and choose one of my opponent's rearguard circles with a rearguard in it, and my opponent chooses a card from their grade 0 from their drop zone and replaces it with that card. Really good to get rid of pesky grade 2s so they can't intercept. It's good to pick off a starter early game if they guarded. It's really good for field control. Into grade 2s, I run 4 Witch of White Rabbit's Cardamom. She's the same effect as Onion. If I have a Witch Vanguard and she's Soul Blasted, I can counterblast 1 and she comes out as an 11k. I can make a column from her by herself, if need be, to hit a grade 3. Or I can make an 18k column with any other grade 1. Really good, and even if I have like a trigger on board, I can make 16k, so she's really good. Then I also run 2 Witch of Golden Eagles Jasmine. I only run 2 because there's not enough space in the grade 2 lineup for me to run any more. And her effect is, when she's placed on rearguard, I can counterblast 1, Soul Charge 3, and give her 3k if I have a Witch Vanguard. But I mainly use her just as a Legion mate. I'll get into a few combos later. I also run 4 Inspection Witch Deirdre, the Legion mate for Rias. She has the same effect as Dana. Soul Blast 1, replace a rearguard with a grade 0 from drop. Then I also run 2 Witch of Intelligence Detals. If I have at least 2 Witches on my Vanguard circle, which means if I'm in Legion or if I've got a Witch Stride on my Vanguard, I choose a rearguard circle, my opponent looks at the top 5 cards of their deck for a grade 0 and replaces it with that card. She's a really good tech. Really good for the field control. Going into grade 3s, I run 4 Witch of Eagle's Fennel. Now, I know I only run 2 of her Legion Mate, but the combo with her is I'll use the Legion Mate, and then I'll re-ride Fennel, and I'll use one of my other cards to Soul Blast the Legion Mate to re-Legion. Her skill, she's on ride, counterblast 1, soul charge 3, and then her Legion ability is, on the turn that she Legions, at the end of the battle that she attacks, you can soul blast 3, check the top 5, and add up to 2 witches in the hand. I can add a Perfect Guard, I can add a Dana, a Deirdre, I can add another Jasmine, I can add some of my zeros if I need to. If I'm fighting people, if I'm fighting decks like Glare and I need zeros, I'll just pull those triggers into my hand so I can guard their attack. And then I also run 3 Cultist Witch Rias. She's got an axe skill where you counterblast 2, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, they look at the top 5 cards of the deck, and if there's a 0, they replace a 0 with that unit. And then when she's in Legion, when she performs Legion, I can retire a witch and neg my opponent's Vanguard by 5,000 for each grade 0 they have on the field. So with Fennel, I build hand, and with Rias, I end them. It's really fun deck to play, and it's really nasty when I get my plays off. For the G Zone, I play 1 Doombrace. I don't really use him that often, but if I need to make power columns, I do. I'm actually about to replace him with another stride. I'll show you here in a minute. I play 2 of the Genesis Witch strides, Witch Queen of Holy Water Clove. When she attacks, Soul Blast 6 and give, was it every witch? Yeah, Soul Blast 6 if you have it, give every witch on your field 5k, and if you have two witches, 2 witch hearts, she gains a crit. So you swing for enormous numbers plus a crit if you're in Legion. So the thing is, you're going to ride Fennel, and you're going to Legion, and you're going to build some hand, then you're going to stride into Clove, and you're going to swing giant numbers with a crit at them. I also run 2 Floral Witch Master Mimi. She is the OTT Witch. When she's placed on Vanguard Circle, if I have a Witch Vanguard, I can discard a Witch from my hand, and my opponent must discard 2 cards or take a damage if they're at 5 damage, or if they're at less than 5 damage. She's really good to mitigate my opponent's hand size. If we're going into late game and they only have, if they're and they only have a couple cards in hand, I can stop them from taking the damage by discarding the few cards they have left, or they have to take a damage and be at even more of a disadvantage when I do attack. Then I also play 1 Witch Queen of Transmigration Sinclair. Her effect is pretty lengthy, but pretty much you make your opponent, if they have 2 or more grade 0s on the field, I can counterblast 1, make them search the top 10 cards of their deck. If they find a grade 0, they write it for the turn, and then when I attack, every time I attack, they can only guard with grade 0s, but they have to counterblast 1 if they want to guard with anything other than 0. So if they're out of counterblast, I'll just ride Sinclair, give them 2 zeros on their board, and they can't guard all of the attacks. I'm going to be replacing one of the Doombrace with another Sinclair. I also play 2 Rain Element Madu. If I'm not ready to go into any of these strides, I can always ditch one of my cards, pick a grade 3 back up, like Fennel, pick a Fennel back up, and next turn I can re-ride Fennel. Really good, a good tech. I don't use it as much now that I have all the other Witch Strides from the Fires collection, but it's still really good to put in the deck. But yeah, guys, that is the Witch profile. Hard to do some combos here, but what we're going to do here in a future video is we're going to showcase some of our decks against each other, and y'all will see some of the nasty combos that we can make with these decks. But yeah, guys, I am Jacob Scrublord VanOrder with Team 2 Shiny here in Jacksonville, Florida. If you enjoyed this deck profile, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more future content.